Jetzt so. Okay. Hi guys, can you hear us? Just type in the chat yes or no. What? Okay, so we are not still online.
Yeah,
Now.
There's always a little delay.
Oh, there is always a delay. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi guys, can you hear us? Is this loud enough?
I think yes.
Okay.
Hi guys, can you hear us?
Okay, so welcome to my very first live stream. I have to give big props to my sister here. We are actually in her home. I hope you will have a lot of fun. The camera is there. I should look into the camera. And what we are trying to do now is setting up the stream for you. And I have the chat open. She's also helping me with the chat. My sister is not a scientist, so it's actually a cool combo to check what's happening in the Jubilee video that we are having. But before we start, I really would like to welcome you guys. So I would like to have a little chat, although it's just one person right now. Although 6 people are watching, I'm not sure. So hi, Mick Norton. I hope Norton is your real name. I hope so. Yeah. So let me know. Okay. So first of all, how you guys doing? So anything that you would like to share? What happened on the holidays and the Christmas holidays? Did you had nice Christmas holidays? We for sure had, or what would you say?
I mean, I was in my apartment, so I didn't do much.
You didn't do much?
I didn't do much, but it was good. It's good to relax and like to calm down before the new starts.
That
the new year starts.
Yes, yeah, for definitely. Are you prepared to watch Dr. Mike versus 20 RFK Jr. supporters?
The thing is that I know Dr. Mike only through your videos, and
Ah,
then
okay.
he started to pop up on my timeline as well on YouTube. So yeah, I'm curious whatever they have to say, and
Yeah.
let's see.
Okay. So, yeah, guys, let me know how is it for you going? I don't see any chat. Is it lagging so hard? I don't know.
No, it's not lagging. There's no one typing.
No? Okay. Could you do me one favor? I would like to post this also on Instagram. Can you make a small picture or like me talking to the people? Exactly. So the cool thing is that we are going to react on it now. I hope you like the logo and the layout. Norton said, Christmas was good. Hope you all had a great Christmas. For sure. So I had also a great Christmas preparing this stream here. And the video. Tell me, guys, did you like the video? I have no idea. I saw that people kind of liked it, but I was not sure if it's good or not. I got some good feedback from some of my friends, but I just wanted to know, like, if you liked it. That would be awesome to know. Yeah, and what else? I think importantly we have to say also the rules. I will paste them in the chat as well, but the rules are everyone is welcome, so everyone who is interested. No rude language, please, and respect each other's opinion. Stay to the fact, no misinformation here. And my sister is...
Yeah, I'm trying to take a picture.
Okay, thank you very much. Very importantly, no misinformation spread. So if you have something that you would like to put in the chat, you can do it, but please stay to the facts. If you disrespect in any kind, you are kicked out of the stream. Then some disclaimers for the reaction now. I have to say I'm a long-time fan from Dr. Mike, even though, so long time, even before I started my little science com journey here. And this whole stream is set for reacting a scientist to this whole debate. And everything that has to do with medical terms or in general with medicine, I will put as less emphasis on it because I'm not a medical professional. I do have some insights from some of my dear friends who are clinicians, like big shout out to Dr. Lorena Law. But I think it's hopefully okay that I just let it stand it there. And I try my best to be very objective, but of course, it is like you have, it is not always that easy, especially when you're a longtime fan of Dr. Mike. And of course, I will try not to include any further claims here that I cannot back up by science. I do have started to get all the claims that they did together, but I only managed to get like to 20 minutes or something. So it was like a lot. So maybe past that, we will see how this is going. Good. Then I see in the chat, yep, it was great. Thank you very much. That is really cool. And I only have questions, no conspiracy theories to push. Okay, great. You can always ask the questions. That's really cool. Okay, 3 watching now, so 3 left because it's so shit, guys. What? No?
Don't focus on that.
Okay, good.
Focus on the people who are here.
Okay. Did you put it on Instagram or?
No.
What for me? You can put it on my Instagram.
Right now?
Yeah, that people know from Instagram that I'm live now. Okay, guys, you see it's the first time and I have no idea, so spare with me. Yeah, so I think we go in, but I'm not sure, can I? No, I don't still hear it, Priya.
What do you not still hear?
I don't hear Dr. Mike. So it's the first time and I have no idea. So
have balloon be
Thank you very much. So I think we go in, but I'm not sure.
And I only have questions, no conspiracy
I don't
theories
still
to
hear it.
push.
Okay. Great. You can always ask the questions. That's really cool.
administrators have balloon be
Yeah, so I think we go in, but I'm not sure.
And I only have questions, no conspiracy
I don't
theories.
still
I think, yeah.
hear it. Okay. Great. You can always ask the questions. That's really cool.
administrators have
People know from Instagram that I'm live now. Okay. Okay, guys, you see it's the first time and I have no idea, so spare with me. Yeah, so I think we go in, but I'm not sure, can I? No, I don't still hear it, Priya.
What do you not still hear?
I don't hear Dr. Mike. I'm here. Oh, okay. So I also mute this. Oh, cook. But you are a lot more qualified than RFK. Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Good. I will try now that we can do it. Let me know. Okay. So we switch now. Okay, that works. So can you paste in the chat if you see the screen with Dr. Mike and the Jubilee video? Do you see it? Just paste a yes, then I can start. Ach so, den habe ich schon.
Ach so.
Wenn du fertig und dann kannst du hier oben Link und dann hier hatte ich das in der Zwischenablage schon.
Genau. Was kann man machen, Digga?
Ja, und dann hier kannst du das personalisieren und sagen
Ich hab das
Livestream.
schon. Aber da habe ich schon come join my first stream.
Ah, okay. Gut. Well, you are XD. Okay. Do you see do you see my screen with Dr. Mike?
I mean, yes, I do.
You
already
do?
see- yeah.
Okay, perfect. Good. So my sister's always checking. So I would say then we just start. Okay, perfect. Okay, good. Then we start, I guess.
have ballooned beyond any reasonable level. Pharmaceutical companies have no transparency. And instead of going after those issues, Secretary Kennedy's calling me a profit monger.
I
Aren't
disagree
you
with
mad
that.
at that?
Yes, I absolutely am.
The definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results.
Agreed.
It's
But
failed.
is it also
has failed.
insanity to say, since this failed, better not do anything and cut it all together?
He's not saying better not do
He
anything.
cut it in half. Hi, I'm Dr. Mike, board-certified family medicine physician and one of the largest health educators on social media. And today, I'm surrounded by 15 RFK Jr. supporters. My first surrounded claim is that RFK Jr. is decimating public health and should step down as Secretary of Health and Human Services.
Okay. I just would like to know from you guys, what do you think? The claim, is it valid? If you would hear such a thing, Priya, would you say that's the true? Like RFK should step down for what he has done? I mean, yes, no, maybe?
You should ask your chat, not me.
Okay, the chat only consists right now of one guy, so
Of three. I mean two.
yeah, you two, and this the same.
Hash guy and Mick Norton.
Yeah,
And
both
you
of them
guys.
are the same person.
Oh, shit, no way.
Okay, so he says very good. Okay, I agree as well. And I hope that when we go on, I will list you what the problem is. So we start by listening to the first supporter.
Hello there,
Hello,
Mike.
hello.
Dr. Mike.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
How do you feel about my claim?
I think your claim is absurd
Okay.
because we've got someone that is actually challenging, which is science. I mean, science is about scrutiny, not Orwellian obedience. And if we want to find the truth, we should always have both sides of the story and, check out both sides and then find what the truth is.
Okay, before we hear Dr. Mike's opinion on this, or no, we hear.
It's interesting because in some ways I agree with your statement. We should absolutely be skeptical, and science is about proving our initial thoughts wrong. When we do research, for example, we try and look at not just our hypothesis of what we think is going to happen. We actually try to prove the null hypothesis. We actually try to design research that disagrees with us. So I'm curious why you think Secretary Kennedy right now is the correct pick versus what you claim to be the other.
Okay, so before we go into what she wants to say, I thought about when I heard this, I was a bit, let's say from a scientific perspective, a bit different. So the supporter says that science is about scrutiny, and you want to check like both sides to find the truth. So, and Dr. Mike said, science is about proving our initial thoughts wrong, trying the null hypothesis. So we try to design research in such a way that it disagrees with us. So my take on it. Me as a scientist, everything starts with an observation. So I'm in the lab, I figured out something like protein A is binding to protein B, and you want to know what it does in the cell, for instance. So you think about it and you try to get like to the mechanistic or functional hypothesis down. So like on an own example would be, I want to know if protein B binds protein A, what does it have to do with the underlying biology that I see now inside the cell, for instance. And I design experiments that are capable of showing either supportive or contradictory outcomes, which means I design an experiment. For instance, I purify both proteins recombinantly, and then I put them in a test tube and see if I apply high salt, for instance, if this protein are still sticking together. If not, then my hypothesis of A and B binding together and making something is not valid then. at least what you see in the test tube. Then the next experiment would be, okay, in the test tube it doesn't work. So what you do is you go to the next and see, okay, is it true inside the cell? Then you can do like microscopy. Maybe you have seen it, that at some point people start to see like dots, neighboring dots somehow coming close together. And that is maybe protein A and B, right? And then you do statistical tests because you want to know that what you have seen is actually, is it true? Can you somehow quantify it in such a way? And you want to know if the null hypothesis, in this case, it's no effect, no difference. And if the data that we see is plausible and that kind of the null hypothesis was true. And rejection is only when the observed pattern would be very unlikely or under this assumption. Of course, you could have an outlier, let's say, that needs to be repeated. And if you see like this outlier all the time again, maybe that's like a specific part that you want to go to investigate further, because this outlier could mean to a very interesting side effect of a biological phenomenon. Also importantly, what you need to keep in mind is that science is like a current snapshot. What do I mean with that is that you emphasize that the knowledge that we have right now over the past of whatever decades, hundreds of years that we assembled is just like the conglomeration out of that. And we are always open to revision, and we need new data and better theories to understand what's the underlying biology of it. And especially the biomedicine, if you talk about biomedicine, the robust like textbooks that you see is covered by evidence that has been done independently in labs all over the world, and with different methods have been replicated over many, many years, even decades, and describing the process that we have seen. And you have to imagine that science is not a collection of eternal truths, and our current best model is like that what we have right now, and we need to of course improve that. And so many lines of evidence we have, and it gets all the time updated. And now if a claim is framed that there's no possible data could even count against it, then this is a red flag that we have left the scientific domain and entered ideology. So it's always important that we have that in mind. Or what would you say, Priya?
I'm trying to share the link right now, but it's a little bit too scientific for me right now. Ich habe keinen Plan, der RFK ist.
RFK is Robert F. Kennedy.
Ah,
Exactly,
der.
yeah. So yeah, I hope that kind of helps a bit. Good.
Other side.
Let's put it this way. We had to live through the medical tyranny of COVID, and his organization, Children's Health Defense, was on the front line of pushing back against that tyranny. I was part of that. I did protests, and I started a rally in Beverly Hills that was very popular. By the end of the year, we had 4,000 to 6,000 people marching through the streets saying, enough is enough. You know, they first, like Fauci, told us, oh, you know, the masks don't work. And then, oh, you need to wear a mask. And then it was 2 masks. So again, the goalpost just kept moving and moving. And we knew it was just baloney. I mean, anybody can smell a rat. And, you know, we just see a lot of the same.
Okay, I needed to stop here because this is like also something that I want to tell you guys. So she was talking about COVID tyranny, which I find a bit more extreme. And okay, she marches against it, fine. She says masks are not really that necessary. I'm telling you now. So the problem that we have is back then, in the time where we had COVID, we had no effing clue what's going on. We never had this kind of in the history that this is kind of happening right now. And the only thing that is kind of close to it was the Black Plague at some point. Yeah. And even then, like there was nothing that science could help us out with. So we were facing a time where we had like this new virus and we didn't know what to do. Retrospective, now we know what to do. Now we know which measures are good. But going back and be like, yeah, well, if we would have known back then, yeah, we didn't know it. So we know it now. And blaming people for what they did before is kind of a shaky part, I would say. And even the virologists, the government officials, and even we scientists did our best to understand what's happening and what would be the best and safe thing to do at that time. And since I'm here in Europe, so I'm not in the US, and I can only speak for Europe and especially Germany, not only the US administration back then did mistakes, it was the whole world, because we didn't know what was happening. And the thing is that it's always easier to talk about it after you know something has happened, right?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And I think we did as good as we can in that case. And I think Dr. Mike really, appreciates that and says that, it has been done, some problems that we have to overcome, we have to discuss, we have to even get to the root cause why certain decisions have been made. But this is something like a learning process for now. And I know that even here in Germany, there are some lawsuits are ongoing, not lawsuits, sorry, some investigations are going into the government that time. Did they do the right decisions? What were they based on? They also put all the virologists again together, asking them, like, did these measures really had something in a positive way? What can we do next if some kind of outbreak would happen, that we really know what to do the next time, so that we have like a blueprint what to do. And going back and be like, yeah, well, back then we got this, and then the next day we had to do something different. Yeah, it was because there was so much new information coming in every single day that no one really know how to connect all of this. And then really scientists sat down and be like, okay, evidence A shows this, evidence B shows this, evidence C shows this. And we are trying to get the correct information within such a short of time. You don't have even time to think about what would be the best or the worst. It's like really acting right now and saying, what can we do that we don't lose so many people, that not all of us have to suffer. And I think we could do the best, right? And this is something I think we need to keep in mind, right?
Yeah, even Norton is saying masks were effective in discouraging transmission, and the distancing too. It's common sense.
Exactly, yeah. And I will come back to this. I think it's an interesting what I also want to say from a scientific perspective.
Pattern, like during HIV, for instance. Remember that Bactrim, the NIH and the government were demonizing this with doctors. And then we find out that it actually does help HIV. But they didn't want to cure because they wanted to push AZT, which made a lot of money for Big Pharma. Same thing happened during COVID. And we had 2 doctors here in California that had a 99% success rate, okay? It was Brian Tyson and George Fareed. And they had 7,000 patients that they helped. 99%, which is better.
I have to stop here. So, first of all, these people, and also the fact check says, they were treating their patients with this hydroxychloroquine and doxycycline or whatever, so antibiotics in that case, and they treated the patients. They figured out somehow it helps, but the problem is that if you cannot replicate what you have seen in big cohorts like randomized controlled trials, which is like the biggest kind of way you can prove something is really effective, it really questions everything. And as far as I know, I'm not so into the research, in this side, but people really tried also to kind of get the mechanistic insights why this would work in COVID. It was not proven. Somehow the work was not proven. And what I would like to say is, if we could have a cure, so now in that case, you would be the first person to know that something is curable, either be HIV or whatever, you know. I do plan a podcast in the new year, an episode with 2 scientists even, who are working in the field of HIV research. And what I can tell you now is, it is quite complicated work actually, especially in that science, since we need kind of like models, like animal models that can replicate what we see in human. You don't want to infect people, right? So
Of course
it doesn't
not.
make yeah.
No.
So you need to make like animal models where you can look how the virus is actually transmitting, how the virus is integrating itself into the DNA, what kind of mechanism, and so on. And that it's making so hard to actually study, because HIV, for instance, she's mixing up COVID with HIV, you know, like virus, everything. I think we need to make a real distinction here, what COVID was doing, what HIV is doing. And HIV is biologically designed to hide itself in inside long-lived cells, like integrating its own kind of genome into our DNA. In this case, especially in T cells, so in the part of the immune system. So T cells are part of the immune systems. And they keep evolving and surviving in places where the drugs that we designed are actually not that fully reachable anymore. So they're so clever that they survive, and that's why the problem is that they cannot really, get destroyed. Yes. And even if you do antiretroviral therapy, so ARTs, even these latently infected cells can persist over many decades. You know, like if you once have it, even if you do like immunosuppression and get this kind of thing ongoing, then we have a problem because it's still not attacking it. And it has been shown that we need research on this medical issue, not conspiracy. Exactly, yes.
And the
Exactly.
preventive measures are different from COVID.
Exactly, yeah. So she's mixing 2 things in one pot, which doesn't make completely sense, right? And what I do find also very interesting is that HIV is a human tropic one. So small animal models require humanized mice or non-human primates, each capturing only one part of the human biology and reservoir dynamics. So you have to imagine that people who are working in this field, they're trying their best to kind of get like a good animal model to study everything, and we still are not there. So that's why it's also kind of really hard to get there. And a cure would mean finding a safe, eliminating way for every cell that has been infected. That is extremely difficult, because there's always a mechanism somehow, for whatever reason that we don't know, why a certain cell maybe is not against it. So why you cannot target it. So there's always something that we need to take care on.
Better than the COVID-19 shot, because once we saw people taking those shots, we saw people dropping like flies.
I feel like we took a lot of topics there and we tried to put them together, so it's going to be difficult for me to reply to you. Let's start with the idea of moving the goalposts.
Okay.
So, in science, we're always learning, right? As a doctor, the things that I recommend today will likely change in 10 years and 20 years, because as knowledge evolves, we're going to make new recommendations. Is that fair to say?
It's fair to say, but this is months, okay? And we know that a virus is 0.3 micron. We see the holes in the mask. You really think that that's going to hold a virus? I mean, we see what virologists wear. It's like a spacesuit.
Yeah, so this is really...
Okay, I have to stop here again, because this is like I don't know where she gets this. So, yes, a virus is maybe zero 0.3 micrometers big, but viruses are never alone. They exist in the part of your saliva or your mucus droplet and aerosol droplets, which means when you cough, if you sneeze, sometimes you see little droplets on your PC, right? So on your keyboard or here on the mic, right? You see it. And in this droplet, you actually have the virus. It's not on its own. And I think that's a clear distinction to make, that it exists in this droplet and it cannot actually get to the next person if it's not in that droplet. And another thing is, if you have the filtration physics of a mask, right? So impact, interception, diffusion, electrostatic attraction, it makes it a mask much more efficient by capturing the particles in the size range than sieving through the big holes like metaphor suggested. So you have to imagine that the mask is made actually to withhold the whole droplet. So you have that everything is getting pushed back, like if the droplet is attached to the mask, so it cannot be transmitted, of course, to the next person. And now she's putting something like this spacesuit thing, like that virologists have to wear when they are working with really dangerous S2 kind of type, or even S3 type of biosafety viruses. That is completely different to what you have to do, because you're not working in the lab with high titers, which means high virus load of a certain virus. You're not working with that. And I think it's really important to show that lab studies have shown, like, virus-containing aerosols, with cotton, surgical, and N95 masks, all substantially reduce the amount of infectious viruses that passes through with the N95 mask, even achieving 90% or even more reduction, therefore having a really big control. And of course, masks are not like magic fields, like they're dose reducers. If you cut the amount of viruses you emit and inhale by just 70 to 90%, you've just made infection much less likely to outbreak to another person. So if I sit now next to my sister and would have a high virus load,
I would be dead.
no, yeah.
It's likely that I get.
He says conspiracy theory, Jesus, though, to debunk.
It's tough to debunk conspiracy theories.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, she would get sick very quickly because I'm not wearing a mask. But if I would wear a mask, the virus load or the chance or the likelihood that she doesn't get sick is much, much higher.
I mean, in the Asian countries, it's like very normalized that you always wear masks.
Exactly. So I have a good example. Japanese people don't wait till a pandemic actually occurs. They have it actually already in their kind of society made up, that it's super important to wear a mask when you're sick, because it is very, I think it's very unpolite to transmit the disease to a next person, because of course the whole society is based on a lot of workforce, so work means a lot to them. They work really hard and they don't want that someone else gets sick so they cannot do the work, right?
Yeah.
But there the idea is already engraved in the society, and I think having that in mind helps maybe hopefully this person to kind of get that a mask is completely fine to really help not to transmit any diseases. And the spacesuit stuff I just want to briefly mention now is we have people, but the people who work in the lab, they have to work like with petri dishes, right? So cells that have been that have been infected with viruses, but sometimes we have to work with really high virus load, so titers. That means like we have a lot of virus particles in this dish, and we would like to know what happens to the cells. And we are creating like this, let's say, very contagious environment. That's why people have to wear this, so they don't transmit it outside. But it has nothing to do with what you have to do taking that mask. And arguing that the masks are pointless because lab workers wear full suits. And this is like now, like maybe a good example is the same argument as you would say seatbelts don't work because race car drivers wear helmets and flame retardant suits, and that confuses different confuses different risk environments. So I hope that kind of tells the people how this is actually transmitted. Okay, that's kind of cute. Thank you very much for joining. Exactly. So we go to the next because she's going to talk about bacteria.
Retailer being called Peter dishes, petri dishes.
Interesting. I love that you point out the particle size. And there's actually a unique principle with particle movements that the reason why N95 masks actually work quite well for the COVID virus, because even when something is smaller than the size of the mask, the pores within the mask, the way that those particles move actually makes them more readily captured by that mask. Isn't that interesting how sometimes what we perceive to be the logical answer sometimes can be disproven in science? And this goes to show in the same way that we made mistakes in the past.
Well, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because they were putting masks on people. So now bacteria is gigantic compared to a virus. We know that, right?
Yeah, they're larger.
And my friend, by
Okay, can someone explain me from getting to a virus why we are talking about bacteria now? So we are talking about the COVID virus, we are talking about the HIV virus, and suddenly we are talking about bacteria. Like
something completely different.
yes. So what the F? What's the claim you want to make? This is something that I really don't get. And funny enough, bacteria are bigger, yes, and they are also withheld by the mask. Like you are catching 2 in 1 by wearing a fucking mask. So I don't get her why she's arguing like that. But I think she didn't understand the fundamental principles of like what's a virus, what's a bacteria, how it's actually transmitted. So I'm giving you right now, it's transmitted by particles, by our saliva, by it can also happen by blood, for instance, or even our if you have sexual intercourse. This is also something, so everything that has kind of fluid-like structure is going to give them a transmission efficiency, let's say. They cannot survive on its own without any droplet or something like that. It does not work like that.
Really amazing how these people think that they can school Dr. Mike.
Yeah,
It's true.
it's true. But the problem that I see in this whole debate is, and I watched this whole video once again, many of them have, hopefully I'm saying that now in a nice way, have a poor education about biology, about how our body works. And I cannot blame anyone for that. It's just, it's not in their, let's say, everyday.
I mean, I don't know if I can say that, but I feel like America itself is very superficial in so many topics. So it does not really.
This I don't know. I don't want to, brag about now. America, Europe,
first.
Asia, whatever. For me, it's more like all the people that I've seen, and I said that in my statement that I uploaded, the very short one. They are fed misinformation, and they believe in that because no one was in the near of them to tell them actually think about it. And I really like Dr. Mike's response in this video, especially because he's trying to give the people like, think about what you are saying. I'm giving you right now an example that what you are saying is not really true, and you should think about that. So yeah, I hope somehow this makes sense. And then we will come to that. I will let her.
The way, was a biology research professor at UCLA. So I've learned a lot from him. And, you know, he went to a very established school, Cambridge University, and that's what he dealt with. That's why he said, this is nonsense. So I'm going to listen to the experts, which is Dr. Elliot Hamoff, and look at, you know, people were getting sick and worse when they were wearing masks because they were forcing themselves to breathe the very bacteria that was dangerous.
So when I'm in the hospital,
Okay, I just wanted to go on that. So I don't know which kind of UCL professor she's talking about. I tried to look it up, but I couldn't find it in that quick of the time. I could not. But I don't know. I'm not sure what he studied, what kind of research he's doing on. And I'm sad to say that there are academics out there providing false misinformation.
Dr. Elliot Himoff.
Yeah, so let's see. But I couldn't find him, so maybe that's on my side, the bad thing. But what I want to say is only because someone went to Cambridge, Oxford, whatever elite university you want to say, doesn't mean the person is high qualified. It always depends on what the person says. For me, instance, I'm from the LMU University, okay? Right now, I did my PhD at the LMU. And LMU, if you look up in the top universities, I think it ranks under the first 50 or something. So, of course, it makes me in the whole world like, wow, she comes from the one of the 50 universities, top universities, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, stop. Your stream got suspended for policy violation.
Oh, fuck.
I think because you said fucking.
And now? Now what do I have to do? Like... Ah, no. Video belongings to someone else. If you plan to continue, please ensure that the content owner okay, so that the owner please ensure that the content owner has added channel to their allow list. Okay. How can I do that? If I do reset?
Hast du es gemacht?
Ich kann machen. No, I don't want to reset. I want to go further. What should I do now? I can't. Okay.
Dann ist vorbei.
Okay. I'm back. How I'm back?
Maybe, I don't know if he has put you to the creator list or whatever. Are you? Yeah, I guess so.
How?
I don't know. Just keep going.
Can you quickly check if you can hear me? Just very quick. So can you hear me?
Let me check.
Can you quickly check?
Yes. We can.
No, not because of you. Because I'm actually reacting on a video, but I'm not sure. Maybe Jubilee just added me, so I have no idea what I'm. When it comes to all these kind of things, I have no idea. I just saw people reacting on it, and I was like, okay, should be working. So I hope it works now. Let's try to continue and see.
And I'm treating patients who have COVID-19, for example. I wear an N95 mask. You think I'm wearing that mask to potentially make myself more sick instead of protecting myself from the patient who has COVID-19?
I believe that you believe that it works, I believe that you believe that because the medical industry, I believe, has been corrupt for a long time.
What makes it corrupt?
There's an interest, that people have special interest. It's a revolving door. When you look at a lot of these NIH or NIAID, these people have been funded by Big Pharma, and then they go in the medical industry. So to me, that shows corruption.
So if someone is funded by Big Pharma, does that automatically make them corrupt?
Not necessarily.
Okay, so I'm really sorry. I really don't know what's happening inside her head, and that's kind of the takeaway that I had for each person. At some point, they all come back and be like, Big Pharma is the bad guy. I'm again not there.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know, for policy violation. I don't know how to put yourself into that thing.
I also don't know. I have no idea.
I really don't know either.
I mean,
Who is the content owner? Dr. Mike?
no, Jubilee. Jubilee is the one.
Ah, okay.
I mean, I have no idea how they did it, to be honest. So, am I back? No. So I think the problem is I cannot react to it. It's just
Yeah, but he's also like, it's gone again. You're probably right. This may be copyrighted, but how did Dave do it?
Yeah.
Who's Dave?
Professor Dave, so he reacted on it.
I mean, maybe they asked him up front.
Maybe, but how do others do that then? I have no idea. So,
Schreibt im Chat mal rein. We're trying to work on it.
content owner. Like I have to write Jubilee maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, but that makes no sense right now, as if they would.
I mean, there's no real thing. So
But
I mean,
back?
no, I'm still not back. So okay.
Copyright issues with live streams.
Ja. Wo war das?
Check your YouTube Studio dashboard for strikes if you fix the issue listed. Oh, we are back.
Yeah, but the problem is, if I start again,
Yeah.
then this will be the problem. So, okay, the problem is for some reason that I'm not allowed to react actually to the Jubilee video. I have no idea why. I really don't know. Um, the only thing that I can do is that I mute what has been said, but that is also kind of like
It's boring.
boring and not really. So maybe it makes sense. I just, clear up what she said. So she says, because medical industry has been corrupted. Well, if you believe in such things only because some of the people have been shown in the past to be idiots, I really cannot help you. That's my personal opinion because, yes, we have in all of our kind of problems in every area, we always have these kind of black sheeps that we have, right? So there will always be people who are not that, supportive or who claim things that are not okay. And so what I can say is that it helps because science has been shown over time that what we see is true. And the same, for instance, is for hygiene. If you look at the past 100 years, the big victory that we had in medicine, and that's not magic, is having small, boring things like soap, clean needles, sterile gloves, vaccines, and sometimes even masks that help us to actually get the thing to a ground, not to transmit diseases. And dismissing the masks because they are not perfect is like dismissing hand washing because it doesn't prevent every infection. So historically, these incremental reduction in risk are exactly what shifted our death statistics away from infections, because before that we had a lot of people dying from infections. Now with antibiotics and hygiene and everything, it's more like to these chronic diseases like heart diseases and stroke and all that kind of stuff. And then corruption on a high level, freedom of speech is gone, and suddenly someone died from the COVID flu. So again, she's mixing again many topics in one pot, trying to serve you that, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna take this, but I want to make it clear that the VERSE database, for instance, she was mentioning, as far as I understood it, because we don't have really such a database in Europe, I guess, that this is like a self-reporting database. So the question is, how accurate is it? And she's also talking about someone got fired, and there's no really an argument for that. And to be honest, I really cannot say much for this, but everything that she provides to have this kind of, what I can say, like medical tyranny, I cannot really see. It's more like made up stuff, and we will see. I have no idea. So Dr. Mike will have another person sitting there. So someone said maybe we can run it at 1.25 speed. But that's a good question.
We can try.
Yeah, I just wanna be here on the dashboard to be
on the safe side.
on the safe side. Not that I get like my account is gone. Everything that I build up.
You should check if you did not get striked or whatever.
I'm not sure where to check this, to be honest. Content detection, maybe. No. I mean, it should come here somewhere. Content, maybe. And then live. I mean, it says no restriction and it's public. So I have no idea,
I also don't.
Um,
Give my own hint. avoid
So it says allowing list. But how do you add someone as a allowing?
sign into studio content manager?
That is when I would do it. If I would add someone, but Jubilee
Yeah.
has that to do with for me, you know, that's why. And it's a bit difficult. I have no idea. Or we don't make it big and I try to do it now like this.
We can try either way. We can try to run it on 1.25 speed, or
Yeah, maybe we can try and then we see what's happening, okay? Okay, so I just quickly go here out. Then I open this again that we see everything, okay? So let's see, I will try my best. We speed up to 1.25 and see if this kind of resolves the problem. And then maybe we leave it as it is.
Because there are honest people, but the fact that they censored, even Mark Zuckerberg was asked in the Senate floor if he was being, coerced by the government to shut down free speech when it came to COVID. We had a friend who, her best friend died of COVID shots, 2 of them, and she had these huge boils all over her legs, and they sent her home. They did not report with VAERS that was that. They actually didn't want to even talk about it, which shows me corruption. Then I had a friend, Dr. Simone Gold, that was treating patients with early treatment, and the Master of Business Association comes to her, which doesn't have a medical license, and threatened to fire her, which she did. She got fired. That is called medical tyranny.
Okay, pause. Vote it out.
Okay, so I don't know. For me, this is not medical tyranny. It's just made up stuff that doesn't make sense. So we will see how this is going. So now maybe I try the next one and we will see how this is going. Okay.
meanwhile I will try to look up something.
Yeah, because I didn't know that you have to ask, because how do people who stream actually do that? Like, do they always ask in advance, all the people, and they say it's okay? Yeah, so let's see. If I would be even speeding up a bit more, because but it's more like what people like. Good. Then we just try the next.
Sorry.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate you,
Okay.
yes.
Appreciate you.
Hello.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Brian.
Pleasure, Brian. Nice to meet you.
So I have a few questions to start with. Just going to want to make sure that we're actually debating the topic that you would like
Awesome.
to debate. To say that he's decimating public health, are there specific measures that you would like to cover, to talk about, that you believe constitutes the decimation?
Yeah, so where do we start? In order to do good public health, in order for me to know what treatments are right for my patients, we need to do research. And currently, the NIH, the CDC budgets for research have been absolutely decimated by billions of dollars. In fact, I wrote down a few of them, if you don't mind me sharing, because I think it's valuable to talk about. So we're not talking in abstract.
Okay.
For research, we've terminated $3.8 billion into cancer, HIV, ALS, and maternal health, important subjects. The entire NIH CDC budgets have been cut in half. We've created an issue where in the Environmental Protection Agency, for the Office of Research, we fired over 1,000 scientists who do that research to figure out if there's toxic pollutants that cause negative health outcomes. We've cut the CDC branch for environmental health tracking for lead and water safety. We've canceled NIH diabetes prevention.
Again gone, I guess, because he said damn. Yes. Sad to see.
Ich würde jetzt reinschreiben, I'll figure it out for the next next live stream. Thank you all for joining. Rest in peace.
Okay, so we are still live.
Du musst dich irgendwie,
Ach so.
Du bist nicht live. Du wurdest doch gecancelt. Obwohl ich nicht mal was Schlimmes gesagt habe. Ich dachte, du würdest eher gecancelt werden, wenn ich das N-Wort sage.
really don't know how to continue. This is just really.
It's sad, aber es ist halt einfach so.
It
weil
is
ich
what
hatte
it
ehrlich
is.
gesagt
So
auch
what I
keine Ahnung, dass
what I
man
yeah. So I go back here because this is kind of shitty thing. I'm really sorry that this is somehow not working. I thought I don't know how others people do that. But I think the first kind of stuff we already did together.
You're not live, bro. I don't know
No,
to whom you're talking.
because here. Haben sie mich jetzt permanent wahrscheinlich gebannt.
Das Problem ist, ich weiß nicht, wo man Strikes sieht. Ich habe keine Ahnung, wie man
I
sich auf
also
die
don't know.
Whitelist
Yeah.
setzen lässt. Ja, ich habe keine Ahnung.
Now I'm back. See? Yeah. The only thing is, I don't know. I can write them, but I'm not sure if I would get an answer for such a small channel. Yeah. So I think we have been there for 1 hour now, I guess, right?
Yeah.
I'm really sorry. I wanted to react on the whole thing, but I will try to figure out what to do. But before I think we end, this guy here, he will talk about some problems. And I wanted to assist Dr. Mike in the additional information. So the Trump administration in 2025 led down to policies that substantially cut to the NIH and CDC funding, therefore disrupting thousands of grants, slowing down new research, reducing the overall science budget by billions, and this will directly harm especially the US biomedical progress. So I just want to give you like an insight from a scientific perspective. In our scientific community, if you made it to the US and you did the postdoc abroad, or you become a professor there, and you come back from there to Europe, you are actually like a little hero. You like literally people say America's like the bonus that you can get to get good positions in Europe, for instance, or even in Asia. So now 777 grants worth of $1.9 billion have been terminated at the NIH. That is mid-2025. And areas that have been affected are COVID, health disparities, global health in general, then $98 million in global health and research and development, and permanently lost and another $112 million even in other sources, and new grant approvals. So when you want to do research as a scientist, you can write like a proposal or a grant where you lay down like what kind of research you want to do, and then you write down topic is about this, the current research is that, what kind of knowledge gap your research would be filling this up with, what kind of methods. And disconnected, connected?
I don't know. Let me check.
Okay, now it says it's reconnected successfully. Okay, whatever. So I think that's also important to talk about. Then high rewarded grants of 406 in early 2024 reduced to 364 in 2025, And that also affects like research in cancer, in Alzheimer, HIV, everything that has to do with vaccine related stuff. And overall funding shifted to upfront payments, leaving less for new projects. So in theory, you actually write a grant, and you can be very sure it's anyway very difficult to get a good grant for your stuff. You usually apply for several kind of funding schemes. But to sustain your lab, if you're like a group leader and you're doing research, to have this kind of as a package, you need to apply to multiple funding agencies. And if you're lucky, you get one. It's already very competitive. But now the situation is even worse, that what happens is that you are not able anymore to get any funding. And the CDC budget have been halved to $4 billion actually dollars. That is a cut of roughly 39%. And that has been attributed for figuring out infectious diseases, opioids, STI programs, and $300 million of grant pool, eliminating the Centers for Injury Prevention and Chronic Diseases. Like, that is also really important. So all the stuff that he's trying to talk about in this video, or in this stand that he is now, if we cut the fundings, then we won't be able to actually talk about it. And also we have specific losses of $333 million from infectious disease programs and $136 million from public health, preparedness, and $76 million from global health efforts. So you can already imagine, like, if you take all the sums together, that we have massive funding cuts. Many people who have led labs, they had to close the labs because they were not able to do that. The researchers had to lay off, and they stalled even trials. Like, people who were actually in the clinical trial wanted to progress cannot do that. So life-saving therapies are not available. And in general, it's weakening the leadership of US, especially now in the biomedicine space, because you also have to think of India, China, from Europe, actually. I'm not sure if you have seen that, but there are a lot of people telling actually US scientists to come over and do their research now here. I don't believe that every one of them will come, but some of them are actually coming. But there are also people who are leaving to Asia. And I think that's kind of the problem that we have right now, that this is kind of not well done, and what I also find very interesting, and I think that's also a good thing to have in mind, is if you are interested in listening to someone who really went through that, Dr. Mike had on his podcast a really great episode. One of the big leaders in the field of nutritional science, Dr. Kevin Hall. I watched it, and I really have to say, it's a shame what's happening. He is one of the big guys who was figuring out, do we can make, or how can we research on if very high processed food is actually really bad for us. He's designing the trials, he's training people how to do this. There's a massive gap right now, because he couldn't really do his research anymore, because he was not kind of confirming that narrative that the administration wanted to have, and that is kind of a very sad thing that happened. And I do hope that this changes, but right now the research itself is like a chaos. It's just really, really bad. What would you say if you hear all these kind of big numbers and research funding cut?
well, it's not good for the research in general, and I know how much you already struggle with like research and like getting funds and whatnot, and like actually to spend money on actual research that needs to be done. But I don't know why the government or in general other people decide that on some specific topics where other people are actually suffering with, they just don't do the research there, and they don't want to spend money on it because they're like, yeah, it's like kind of like hopeless or whatever. But listening to whatever like the first lady said, I don't know, it's like there's a big lack of education, and of course that education is not something that you get in school, but then also like the misinformation that has been spread
Yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah. So it's not only normal influencers or some person is spreading the misinformation. The biggest problem that we have is the spreading comes from actual government side, like RFK or McCurry or whoever it is, going out and doing something that is really like throwing off completely the acid information that we have, and destroying everything that has to do with facts. And what I find very bad, let's say, is at some point, Dr. Mike will also say that they are framing that doctors are not good, but they're also framing that scientists don't know what they're doing, and the research is corrupt, and all these kind of things. And what I have to say is, like, we are not corrupt. We are just really trying our best to understand what's happening in the human body. And that's why I'm really someone who is there collaborating with clinicians to figure out how we can understand the basic mechanism why a certain disease is coming out, and then understanding what is actually happening, what kind of therapies could we possibly help out with. Of course, the therapy options are in the end towards the medical professional, because I'm at the end understanding the disease. I'm not in the end deciding what kind of therapy would be good. But what?
I didn't want to do that, I'm sorry.
What happened?
Nothing. Just continue.
So yeah, that we have to understand that we are all trying our best. And of course, I admit there are always people, black sheeps, who are doing really bad stuff, like there's never 100% everyone does it faithfully, let's say. But what you're doing is that you're putting everyone together in one pot and kind of telling everyone, like, look at this shit, and no, seriously, I'm serious. I hope I don't get canceled because of this, but understanding, I every morning get up, I really love what I'm doing. I'm going to the lab, I'm thinking about experiments, thinking about, in my case now, what a specific protein that I'm working on is doing. Actually, it's taking all my sleepless nights, because it's so difficult sometimes. But I do really want to understand, and that's why I'm also collaborating with colleagues, because in the field that I am, so I'm doing proteomics, so protein analytics, meaning I want to understand how the proteins inside your cells are getting different when you have a healthy cell and a non-healthy cell, let's say cancer or whatever you want to study at. Because it comes down to a very basic mechanism that I think is really important to understand. We all have the same underlying DNA. We are very, unique in the kind of how our DNA is inside our cells, and every cell in our body has kind of the same blueprint. So ideally, every cell could make itself to another cell, but that is not happening. um, at a certain point when you have developed, you are actually kind of done. You, of course, you grow and so on, but your organs are done, your brain is done, and so on and so on. But you have to understand that if you want to see an outcome, you have to first understand, how does my DNA look like? Then you have to understand, what is a gene? You know, like encoding the information for the protein that actually does the work for you. And understanding this concept might help to understand how in general we see science, because if you don't know the basic principles, and even there we have like new things coming up, understanding mechanisms even better, then you will never understand why a disease occurs. And the guy that was sitting there, unfortunately I cannot show it anymore, he was talking about like people need to get moving, but he was solely onto this VO2 max thing. So the problem is that we have some people as influencers that are kind of credible in the first place, like Dr. Huberman or Dr. Peter Attia, talking about in their podcasts about VO2 max with an expert, let's say, but then trying to lead people into a certain direction, that they should do that. No, that's the only thing or only way how you can get healthy. So now you have Dr. Mike, who actually sees patients all the time in his office, trying their best to eat healthy, to exercise, or at least he tries them to get into that state. And now this guy comes and be like, well, RFK Jr. is just figuring out, and we just need to do everyone VO2 max to max it out. I'm like, how do you want to do it? Like, what's your measurement for that? And he was also going on to the government should not be in there. It's an individual choice. But I'm on the stand of Dr. Mike that some measurements have to be done by the government. As he said, we need to create places where people can do exercise. We need to create places where children actually can play. And this is all, I think, really important to do. And also like creating a safe space for the people. Just on the VO2 max, that you understand what this means. So it has been shown that it is a strong predictor for health outcomes in cardiovascular risk and longevity, but the claim alone is not changing the health system, you know. And probably he heard it on the Huberman or on the podcast of Peter Attia. And, you know, it is highlighting that it's trainable and there's a correlation, yet the evidence shows it's one piece of a larger puzzle, not you cannot see it as it's alone. And I spare you now the nitty-gritties of it, because first of all, I'm not so into the biology behind it, but you know, it's more like how much oxygen your body, so the VO2 max quantifies peak aerobic capacity. If you need to break it down now for yourself, it's how much oxygen your body can actually use during a very intense exercise. And it has been shown that it's trainable and with high intensity interval training, and improving it by 10 to 20% can help, you know. But what else matters to be, you know, healthy? Because he claims that if we increase the VO2 max for every person, then we don't have any problems with chronic issues, with the chronic illnesses. Well, genetics is also something that you need to keep in mind. Although we all have kind of the same genetic background at some point, we do have mutations, we do have deletions, we have other things that change the DNA. So very importantly, some of the stuff can be given to the next generation. That also has an impact on if someone can do exercise or not. And also like the overall environment that you're in. So socioeconomic is playing also a big role. Your lifestyle in general. Are you someone who is actually getting out or very sedentary, or are you eating a lot of unhealthy, very high processed food? Are you trying to eat your vegetables? Are you trying to eat your fruits? All these kind of things come together. And maybe to also show you, while so randomized control trials have shown that VO2 gains reduced risk, no trial proves that isolating, so if you only would improve only the VO2 max, that this actually would have a transformation on the population health, right? And I hope that you get now the idea that taking out one variable, max it out, will not help, because we need all of the components. Good point. Exercise and diet are just a program of better health, part of a program. Yes, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. So then he goes on with
Nur ganz kurz.
yeah. I'm just done.
Achso, also du gehst jetzt nicht noch.
No,
Okay.
I will not go too much into detail because we cannot watch it. So
Yeah, we will check how to do it
yeah.
later.
Okay, so then, of course, I think one of my colleagues kind of liked this, but I think it's a cool thing. Genetics load the gun, lifestyle pulls the trigger. You can't outrun bad DNA or chronic stress forever.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's a really cool kind of summing up everything. And he also, the guy also said later that maxing out VO2 max, would also withhold kind of cancer, which is not true. Like, cancer is also a very complex topic with many layers. People are trying to figure out for their whole life, like how a certain cancer is actually developing and what we can do to actually combat that disease, and shrink the tumor, and even trying out different therapies. But the problem is that tumors are different. So if you have a liver tumor, it's different to, I don't know, lung cancer or whatever. And understanding it is always very important for each of the cancer types that you have. You cannot say that cancer XYZ can be treated with this and this and this. So, and that's why it's also something that Dr. Feigenbaum is also doing, right? So he is trying to repurpose drugs by that have been assigned for a certain medication for a certain disease, but he believes that the compound can be used to actually treat maybe another one. And also Dr. Mike had him on his podcast talking about how he actually came to that. And you see how complex it is, and we need the collaboration from all over the world to kind of get like each angle somehow researched on, so we understand it more fully. And if we cut the research, if we don't trust in the people, and especially like 99% of us are really trying our best to figure out what's happening, then we are lost. We are just lost, and then we will not have the opportunity to fight back. That's also something that we need to take care of. And he's also, saying that every research dollar that has been spent is like in vain. I tell you now, all the stuff that we did till now, so every kind of that Dr. Mike as a physician has to kind of give the people the guidance, it has been done by the research money many decades before. So the information that we have now is coming from the research money that people have given many decades before, that actually now benefits us today. If we wouldn't have done it past centuries or past decades, we wouldn't have the information now. So everything that you are saying right now is not true. If we wouldn't have done the research, we wouldn't know it. So that's kind of the thing. And of course, I think the government can provide guidance to get the public healthier, but it's important to support any effort, you know. Here, so the guy, maybe I can show again very quickly, this guy here at the side here, to be very honest, what he can do is he could launch his own program in his neighborhood. Why not? Why can he not launch a program in his neighborhood, in his hometown, and make the people healthier? At least he would provide value in that, not supporting someone who actually demolishes everything that needs to be built up or supported, you know. Then I hope somehow you get kind of the information there.
Yeah, the comment is really good, but we don't know what will work until we have researchers testing
Exactly.
things.
Yeah.
We need the $1 trillion going to medical research rather than doomsday weapons.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So you just nailed it. Yeah, so that's kind of the information that I can give you now. I have some things here. So I will plan a second one. Yeah, I mean, I kind of get where he's coming from, but what can I say? Like, he's putting also, like all the other people are putting everything together and hoping to have like arguments put together somehow, like, I don't know the right word for it, but you know, he's trying to get like every little detail and then trying to throw it to Dr. Mike and be like, hey, you know, here you have it, and I'm on the right side. But if you really systematically look into everything that they say, you really clearly realize that people have no idea about how research is done. And on that note, I had a really nice talk to Dr. Lorena Law. She's an all-time friend of mine. She's a GP. And she had a really brilliant idea. Maybe next time for the Jubilee video. I have no idea if Dr. Mike wants to do a third one. But it would be really cool if he has like a telephone joker, like you know from Who Gets the Million or something, you know. Yeah, so calling a scientist. And the scientist on the phone actually explains the science. I think that would make the whole discussion a bit more tangible, more visible. And also, like, it's not doctor versus the public. It's like the whole scientific community, including the scientist, a doctor, and the public would make more sense. And maybe I can show you something that was related to this. I uploaded it. I think it shouldn't be a violation if it's my video.
It
right?
shouldn't, you mean?
Yeah, it shouldn't,
Yeah.
right? So let's see if I can get there. So as you remember, I did this reaction. This here.
Hi, Dr. Mike. Just a short comment from.
I just quickly share it with you. I hope this is not a violation now because this is my video. So let's have a look.
From my side on your recent story.
So I just did another one of these Jubilee surrounded type debates, and I keep seeing comments like this pop up every now and then, and I'm just confused. I don't quite get it because we have a president, CDC director, secretary of HHS that are all anti-vaccine. So the conspiracy theories are now mainstream. And I think it's our duty as doctors to fact check that misinformation. And when there's people who fall victim to it, like the majority of people who were part of my Jubilee discussion, I think we need to be there and have that discussion with them. And for the world to see, the era of just burying our heads in the sand and hoping that this will pass needs to end. We need to be more proactive, and I'm trying to do it. It's tough. I don't say that I do it perfectly, and I probably learn a lot from doing these episodes that I wouldn't have learned about had I not done them.
I watched the Jubilee episode with you, and I have to say, debates like this really matter. Not everyone, of course, agrees with how these formats handle evidence-based information, and honestly, I do understand why. These conversations are fast, emotional, and you can pause really to fact-check or even unpack the misinformation in real time. So the format itself is simply not designed for that. But we still need these conversations, and how we structure these kind of conversations is still part that we all are trying to figure out. Speaking from the scientific side, watching this took a lot of strength and a lot of patience from me. I paused multiple times because I genuinely could not believe what kind of misinformation these poor people had been fed, and it's very frustrating because we know that diseases are very complex, there's no one fits for all, we can't explain every mechanism in one go, and certainly we cannot find a cure in one day. So it takes a lot of years or even sometimes decades of experiments, validation, careful data, and collaboration to understand actually what's happening in the human body, and in that particular case that I'm talking about, how type 2 diabetes develops. That is why I believe having a scientist in the room might have helped the discussion. Explaining how the research actually works might have even shifted the conversation. But to be honest, what I've seen, many people were already too deep into this rabbit hole, and convincing them otherwise becomes incredibly challenging. If the narrative of the people starts already with that scientist or that doctor or even that big pharma is corrupt, what tools do we even have left to reach them? That's the debate we all need to join forces on. We need a better strategy to rebuild trust. But what you did was brave. Stepping into that space, facing people who are deeply convinced by misinformation, and doing that in a very calm way, that deserves the uttermost real respect. You're not alone in this. There's so many voices out there fighting alongside you. At the end, we all want the same thing: to make the world a better place with better conversations, better science communication, and of course, better outcome for the public. Hi, Dr.
So that's kind of the takeaway that I wanted to give, because he uploaded it on Instagram as a story, and then I just downloaded it because I wanted to react on it and give him from a scientific perspective the background, and I do hope that we might have next time someone from the scientific community in these discussions, so you get these two sides, from a medical and from a scientific side. I hope the part that I could show now was very interesting enough for you, so that you can actually say, okay, what has been done, what was different. So yeah, I hope that this works out. Maybe I figured out how to do it. Maybe he recorded the video and didn't watch it on YouTube, because it's running on your PC and not on YouTube, and then the content detection doesn't work.
Could be possible, yeah. Maybe try that the next time that
Yeah.
you download the video,
So
and then you can...
something like that, or not downloading it, but maybe screen record it and then
Yeah.
somehow react on it.
Yeah.
Maybe that would be something. But yeah, I hope that most of you guys had fun with the 1 hour 41 minute.
Yeah.
Maybe I make a video only with the chops that I upload, not having a full stream again. And yeah, so Mick Norton is saying the conspiracy theorists may indeed be in too deep, yeah, but never American history have been. Neighbors?
But never in American history have we had a lunatic as president.
Lunatic. Okay, yeah, true. So if you look at Stephen Colbert, what he is always saying, right? And that's kind of the sad part that we have, that he has to leave, that his show got cancelled without any, how can I say, without any reason, actually. He's just,
A crazy guy.
yeah, he's a crazy guy, that's true. So yeah, I have the most respect for Dr. Mike, what he did. If he somehow watches this, you have full on my back. I would love to have a conversation with you, how we scientists can do even better. I know that there are other people out there who are much bigger and more, I don't know, well equipped than me maybe, but I do want to spread the best evidence-based information. I have a lot of fun showing the people what kind of cool things are coming out from research that we understand better. I really live in that. I just enjoy research. That's something that I'm very passionate about. And I really do hope it will change at some point. And yeah, I really hope that somehow I could provide some value with this. Yeah, I will let you know. Hopefully soon having a new video out with the rest of the claims. As always, yeah, subscribe if you like this little live stream. I will try next time with you as well if you want to, my sister.
I don't know, let's see.
Do you have something to say to this whole thing, what you heard now, in general?
Since you're very much like you're very into science and you're trying to like give background information, there's not much that I can say. Oh wait. No, wait. There's actually not much what I can say regarding like the scientifical background.
Yeah, that's true.
But I'm just trying to understand it from a perspective from someone who is not in science and who listens or like hears these kind of like conspiracy theories and whatever is going on. Like this is also something that has not been like gone through my ears because during COVID I think there were a lot of people who saying they do not want to get vaccinated, they do
Yeah.
not want to wear masks and all
Yeah.
of that stuff. So it's nice to have someone who is not in that field to like give their opinion on this, but yeah, I think in general it was nice. We just need to figure out for the next time how you can like stream this whole thing without
Yeah.
violate the policy. And yeah, other than that, I don't know, like let's see what kind of other content you're gonna do like on like live stream or whatever. And
I mean, if I cannot react to it for whatever reason,
you can still make a video.
I can still make a video.
You
Exactly.
can still make a video
Yeah.
and you can still educate people through that. And yeah, then let's see how it will work for the next time.
Yeah. I really like that you already put the slogan into the chat. Would you be
Which slogan?
Let
a
a
dose
dose
of
of-
honest
yeah,
science into
exactly,
your life and
yeah.
brighten up your day.
so I think we end the stream here. Thank you very much for joining, and anyone who's now listening hopefully finds it very interesting, the part that I did now, and I will figure out for the next time what to do. If we don't hear from each other, I wish you, because this has been recorded now on the 28th, right,
Yes.
of December,
Yes.
everyone a very happy new year. From my side, I would just want to say there are some changes happening in the new year. So I hope positive changes, of course. But I just want, that you guys are staying safe. Stay to the facts, guys. Don't, fall for misinformation. And yeah, we will see us in the next time. And I think, as always, let a little dose of honest science into your life and brighten up your day. Okay.
Thank you guys for joining and thank you
Yeah.
for watching.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Bye.
Martin. Bye.